welcome to Synced on Air. I'm your host, Angelique Robb, and I have Luis Benavides from Neighborbrite with me today. Welcome, Luis.
Thank you for having me, Angelique.
Of course, of course. Well, we're excited for what you're bringing to our industry. You know, AI is all the rage. And so, this comes at a great time when everybody's, you know, thinking about using AI. Do they use AI? How do they use it? And you have a software, a SaaS, if you like, that we want to hear how it came about. What's your background, and tell us more.
Yes. So I was a product manager at Google and I worked there for over 14 years, mostly on AI related products. So I did
Perfect.
ads quality, I did search quality, I did recommendations, personalization as a product manager. So I would lead a group of engineers and we would build different products. And the last one that I worked on was Google Shopping. So it kind of like comes full circle as we will talk about later. But yeah, it was about connecting merchants with buyers and creating that ability to connect people with the sellers with buyers. And yeah, like the story of Neighborbrite is I thought, let's use the AI has been, all tech companies are adopting AI at a warp speed, but there were industries that were not adopting AI and technology as fast as we could see. So I saw the opportunity there. I became a homeowner and I realized, the product started as a consumer product. So that's kind of one of the key things here, where I wanted to do projects for the house, and I realized how time consuming it was, like how the bottleneck of getting a project done, especially one that is visual, is the design. The design is what drives everything, and what's going to give you like, okay, what are the plants are you going to choose, or what are the furniture that you're going to choose, and design. There was this period of time, or on the journey, or this part of the journey, where people are using Pinterest to get all the inspiration that they need. So this before you make the decision to do the project. So I spent time on Pinterest, and when I was talking with people, they had Pinterest boards for years even. So they were thinking about these projects, but they never moved forward. So that's where kind of like the light bulb turned on, and I thought, like, well, if we make this part, the inspiration part, and the kind of like decisioning part of the process much faster, we could just help the industry grow by a big margin. Like I think it was like 20% of people or 80% of people will drop a project because they just couldn't think about it, or for many reasons. But one of them was the part where they got stuck at the beginning. So that was kind of the kernel of it. And AI was at a point, this was 2023. Was ChatGPT was just out, like on
Yes.
22 in December, and on 23 we were thinking like, wait, we can use AI to help the design phase, at the ideation, the mood boarding phase. That's when we launched Neighborbrite.
And so when did you buy your
Yeah,
house? Was it right
I
before that?
it was a year before. It was a year before. So it's
Convenient timing.
yes,
To spark that idea for you as was it first time homeowner? Is that
first time homeowner.
okay?
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah. I've been renting all my life, and finally moved to Utah after I was in Silicon Valley, could not afford a house, even after
Okay.
working for Google. But then as we were looking for different places, was kind of the middle of the pandemic. You know, h- you could work from home, so we were like,
And
uh, we
find a place.
visited Utah. I had been coming here to Salt Lake City for snowboarding, and I love the outdoors, so it clicked.
I haven't skied there, but it's on my list. Okay, that's another time. Okay, so it's funny because yeah, I guess that I can see where, your idea came from where you were in the hot seat and you wanted to design your landscape and get the ball rolling. And yeah, I like how you tied it to Pinterest because I think that's a great place to start. Now, we're gonna have a lot of landscape designers and landscape architects going, "I don't know about this," So, let's keep going, but, like, yeah, let's
Actually,
have to
it's
address that at some
yeah,
point.
we'll get to that, but it's actually landscape designers are using Neighborbrite a lot. Especially so, the way you can think about Neighborbrite and the way it was a consumer product. Now it is more of a oriented to business. But the way we think about this is like the things that designers don't want to do, it's done by Neighborbrite. And Neighborbrite is covering all the process all the way until the sale, until you sign the contract. Then you get an actual
Yeah.
professional designer to do the proper drawings with CAD. AI is not at that level yet, but we're doing all these pieces of the work that the designers were doing. I'll give you an example so
Yeah.
that it makes more sense. So the designers, the first step of the design process with the client is mood boarding. So
Yes.
they need to sit down with the client and it's like, okay, what is your style? What are the things you want to see? What are the things that matter to you?
What's in your
And
head?
what is in your head? So it's a kind of extracting everything that is in your head, and they spend several hours and they bill per hour, right? So like each hour is like, $100+ that they are charging the client for this mood boarding session where they are going through images and, share your Pinterest boards and all of that. I have several landscape design firms, sorry, like the design and build landscaping firms where they are giving neighbor right to the customer and it's like, use that, play with it, and then come back to me when with 5 6 images that you really liked. So the customer themselves are doing all this mood boarding. They're not spending hours in with the designer, which like that kind of like back and forth in a live session
Take
is
a
not
while.
great. But when they bring that image with the exact thing they want, that shortens the whole process by a
I
big
love that.
margin. So
Yeah,
yeah, they are like, for sure, customers just use Neighborbrite. Go ahead, get me the things you want to see, and then we start designing, the actual, CAD
designing
drawings.
with the actual levels in mind and the house and all that. It's like, yeah, I see that where, I mean, gosh, when we were doing mood boards, we were like, copy and paste an image and put it in a Word document and then come up with a proposal. And that's, yeah, that's half the work.
Yes, and the other, as and that's the first part, and then when they're having the discussions, the customer could say like, "Oh, I want a tree here, like in front of my front yard." And then the designer is like, a tree is not going to look, it's gonna cover your window, it's gonna make it, shady, so your house is gonna be darker. But the best way to show the customer is like, let me put a tree, like a proper grown tree in front of your house and let's look at it.
See what it
And
looks
like,
like.
do you want that? So it is like some way to really like show the customer ideas in real time. So it's a visual conversation as opposed to this kind of like, oh, this is what I think, this is what you think. So it just improves the process. It's not replacing at all. It's like enhancing that conversation with the
Yeah.
designer.
Well, and it's like you can just like ChatGPT, you can talk to it as well. So you
Exactly.
can prompt Neighborbrite to help you brainstorm as well.
Exactly.
Okay. Oh, this is exciting. So when did it go? Did you have people testing it ahead of time? And then how long has it been in the market? And yeah, give us a little
Yeah.
bit.
So the transition to businesses. So the way it works, so it was 2023. And what we were doing in 2023 was pretty much what ChatGPT is doing today. Is essentially you could tell it what you wanted to see, and then it would transform the image. And the the whole process in the last 3 years has been, building things on top that where ChatGPT or where Gemini are not good enough. So one example is if you try to ask Gemini to erase an element from a photo. Like let's say there's an overgrown bush in front of your house and you want to erase it, magically erase it, get it out of the picture. And you just prompt Gemini or ChatGPT, erase this bush. It works about 50% of the time or less. So we tested it. So we were like, okay, this is not good enough.
Yeah.
People are going to get very frustrated. Sometimes it removes the bush, but then it adds something weird or changes the house. So it was very frustrating. So we decided, okay, we have to build an additional layer to erase. And then we had to do the same with creating specific styles and being able to tell the system, I want you to only design this area. So you can, with Neighborbrite, you can just like circle the area that you want the AI to design and keep
Every
everything the same.
And this is
And that is hard to do.
well, I also like that, it's meant to, let's say you're going to a house for the first time to see a client. You get out your truck and you take a picture, and everything is built off of that picture that you've just taken. And what you're saying is then you can highlight what you want to remove. So you can basically just circle it, remove this driveway, make it a curved driveway, or, put a
For
tree.
example, yes,
Yeah. So,
yes.
um,
And yes, so we like there's another functionality that we had to add ourselves is you know putting plants. You would have the most frustrating time trying to tell ChatGPT or Gemini, hey, move this tree by 1 foot to the left. These things are not made for that. It's not going to work. That doesn't work. Not even 10% of the time. It's just like it doesn't either. Doesn't do it or puts it in a different place. So we had to build a design studio where you can drag and drop. So we created a library with thousands and thousands of plants, and we have all the climate information, so you can filter by, I'm in Salt Lake City, so my hardiness zone is 6B, full sun. What are the plants that I can put in here? And it will give you all the plants that you can literally drag and drop, resize them, place them exactly what you want them. And then you can play with after you do that, you can, place plants. You can also draw a driveway, and you can make this circle driveway manually, because if you tell, ChatGPT or Gemini, hey, draw a circle driveway, it's not get it, it's not going to do it exactly how you want it. And so you want to actually give input that is manual, and you're like drawing the thing. And after you draw it, obviously your pulse is not the best, but we build a system such that you can draw the driveway and then ask Neighborbrite, improve this, make it look better. And it will, like, the AI will come in and will make it perfectly circular, and you can say match the color with the existing concrete, and it will make everything blend. So there's no need to go into Photoshop and spend hours there. It's just like the AI is helping you go back and forth. So there's like full manual control, or go back and have the AI
yes.
help you out.
Yeah. Well, and that also, I think that that kind of fits with, using AI for the kind of repetitive things, or the thing that maybe nitpicky, where you're still in control of the design. You can still drive it. It smooths it. You
Correct.
put the idea in, it embellishes it, or you pick the plants and you tell it to, you know, put 1,000 of them, or I don't
Yeah,
Okay.
I had a design where I drew all this stuff, and then after you do it manually, we have this enhance feature,
Yeah.
and it has levels. So it goes all the way from low to high, and high meaning like, take my design as some indication, but you take, whatever
Okay.
creative
You go
freedom, and
crazy.
give me something back. Go crazy with it. And I've had such beautiful things come back, like, the AI placing boulders, like statement boulders in the design that I hadn't thought of, or, many different, like adding more plants, making it look in different ways. So it is a fun. Not only is it helpful and fast, but it's also fun, just to, it's like a lottery where you're like, what is it going to come up with in this scenario?
Yeah.
And yeah, it's a lot of fun to see that. But going back to the point is like, okay, this was something that homeowners were using. Now we have over 600,000 users who have registered and use Neighborbrite. So clearly it resonated with homeowners. But then homeowners were showing these images to their landscapers and their designers, saying like, this is what I want. And then the landscapers were like, wait, how did you generate that? That looks like an actual photo of the finished project, because
Yeah.
the designs look very realistic as well. So they started using it for themselves and as a sales tool. That is it kind of like clicked for them, because they could come to the way they were doing it before, especially if you're a kind of like a landscaper who's starting, or maybe you haven't done landscaping projects for houses that look similar. They will come to the customer with a binder and photos of all the projects they've done, and then the back is like, feels like Pinterest. They will use that to ask the customer what they wanted, but now they can actually design with the house, And I had landscapers who would text me. Yeah, I have several ones that I'm very, very close friends with. And they will text me like, dude, I closed this $100,000 project. And it was just because the customer was so impressed that I would come in and do a design for free. They thought I would have spent hours doing this design for them,
Yeah.
and that kind of like extra level of work and detail and professionalism. They thought, okay, this is the landscaper I want to work with. So yeah, it became that. It became a sales tool. And now the way we're building the product is that not only do you design really quickly with the client, but we take that design and you can create a quote off of the design right away.
Okay.
So our product goal is, after having that client meeting, you sit on your truck on the driveway, and before you leave the driveway, you have a ready quote you can send to the customer. And you know, you're going to be the first landscaper that sends the quote, and obviously you have a much higher probability of closing that job if you do that. So we are building tools. One of the really cool things that we are about to release this week is we take that design you generated and we create a 3D representation of that image, and then right there you can select an area and it will tell you, okay, this is 100 square feet. So you can use that to calculate, okay, I need to buy this much mulch, this much rock. I know all the plants already because we have a plant list generator. You can choose the plants from your local nursery. We're integrating with different nurseries in all over the US. So you can design with live inventory from nurseries that you buy from. So it is like all integrated in one.
Wow. So yeah, and that's a whole nother level of complexity is plant sourcing to know the plants that you're choosing that you can find them anywhere close to you. So anybody who uses Neighborbrite will be able to see the plants that they design with if they're available in their area,
The the landscapers will,
the
yes,
landscapers.
or homeowners that are willing to get into the landscape subscription. But
Okay.
yeah, and the reason we did this is so you can go to ChatGPT and you can ask ChatGPT, give me all the plants that work for Salt Lake City, give me natives, and ChatGPT will give you an answer. And some of these plants will be good. But what we realized after talking with many nurseries, the nurseries were telling us like, oh, we have these problems with this designs that come up. Clients come up with designs that are done by designers that are probably not local from those services that are national, and you can get cheaper design services. And the nurseries are like, we don't have any of these plants.
Where did they come up with them? Yeah, it's been close.
And actually, the best example I have is purple hydrangeas. So in Utah, there is going to be very, very hard to find, or almost impossible to find, a purple hydrangea that you can buy from a nursery. And the reason is that purple hydrangeas require acidic soil.
I was gonna say it's all soil related. Yeah, and
Yes,
the soil in Utah is mostly alkaline, is it?
it's yes, yes. It's every like especially in the Salt Lake Valley, it's all alkaline, and so like even if you plant it, it's gonna lose the
Even if
color
you put
even.
one, yeah.
So we were like, this knowledge is so hard. Like, there's no LLM that will know that in Utah, the soil is alkaline, and because the LLM has not talked to growers in the area. So
Yeah.
we decided like we're not going to even try to do this with AI. We're just going to integrate and partner with nurseries across the country, and the nurseries are the best people. They already curate and grow the plants. They have all the knowledge. They have all the care instructions. They have all if they sell it in Salt Lake City, that plant is going to survive in Salt Lake City because otherwise the customer is going to come back and say like, "Hey, my plant died. What's up with that? You're selling plants that are not going to survive." So we partner with large nurseries. Perennial Farm is one of them. They cover all the East Coast. They have like over 2,000 perennials. Nate Herbst is another nursery that we partner with. Uh, Progressive Plants in Utah. So that's why like we're partnering with, like, if you're a nursery owner and you're like in all the other different states, we want to partner with you so that we have that inventory, and so that the landscaping companies and designers that are local, they can just go to Neighborbrite select your nursery, and then they will be drag and dropping your inventory plans. We
Amazing.
connect with like your Shopify store, so it's the real time inventory, and it's all automated. We generate the plant assets, all of that kind of stuff is going really quickly. But yeah, so that gives us the ability to then, for a landscaping contractor that is buying the plants from, like, let's say Progressive, we have all their pricing. So after they create the design, they have the pricing right away off of the design,
Yeah.
and then you do the calculations with the area, how much mulch, how much of these materials, and you have a quote ready to go in minutes. That is the power of going from design to quote.
Wow. So that is next level of, yeah, connecting design through to install, through to supply. That is slick. And your customers are doing this now. This isn't
Yes.
tomorrow. It's happening now.
It is
So
happening. The estimator is going to be launched this week, so
sweet.
maybe tomorrow or Monday. That is the launch day of the estimator, but the all the other things that I talked about are already live.
Real life. Gosh. Well, and I like the way, because I think, I'm a landscape designer too, and you think, "Oh, I still want control of the design. I still want to steer it. I still want," but, how you've described it, it does make it sound like, the designer can still be in full control, or you can give it to your client and they can play around with it and give it back to you to then, you know, grow it on. But connecting it to what's available, like, yeah, I think that's huge for how the industry operates. It really challenges our normal system, if you like, those two significant ways. So 600,000 users, how many of those are professional versus homeowner? Do you have that split?
It is in this single to double digit thousands. The thing is, sometimes we don't know because they use it. Sometimes they subscribe to a different version, or they're so from their emails, it's hard to tell if they are a professional or a
Professional,
homeowner.
because they could use their personal email. Yeah.
They could, yeah. So a lot of people just start with the homeowner subscription just to test it and see how it works. We do have a free, like, our free plan lets you design a couple times per day for free. So the trial is in there, so you don't have to pay or not even enter a credit card to test the product. But the product as being designed specifically for contractors is recent. So it's something we've been working on in the
Okay.
last 6 to 9 months. So we expect the growth to be ahead of us and more so than behind us at this point.
Yeah, yeah, I guess, and well, it makes sense because you started it for homeowners, and then, this is like the next iteration is to the professional side of the business.
That's right.
I think it's fantastic. Tell people how tell them the website so they can start getting their free, trial in and testing it out. Where can our audience go to try it out?
They can go to neighborbrite.com, and that's written like neighbor, and bright is Brite.
Okay, great. We'll also have that in the show notes for everyone. So make it easy for them to go in and play around with it. What advice would you give a contractor that's starting to play around with it? What would you suggest to do?
They're starting to play around. I would say just like take it to the field and show it to, go and work with a client and look
Start
at
out with
their
the client straight
look at
from
their
or go.
well, of course test it yourself just to see how it works. But I think when it clicks is when you, as a contractor, you see your customer's face after showing them what their house could look like. And it is because it changes the conversation from, maybe when people ask the contractor to come to their houses, they're not sure if they want to do the project. That's one. And then second, they don't know how much they will spend, and they are usually way off. Like, they would think something is like 6,000, and then when they get a quote for 25,000, they're like, what happened here?
Yeah.
I didn't know landscape could be that expensive. But I think what makes the difference is that they actually see their house. They're looking for curb appeal, and they see their house transformed in just like in an
in
instant,
front
and
of
they're
their
like, "Wow, I didn't know that landscaping could have such a huge impact in the way my house look like." And this is what I'm gonna come to every day, and park my car and see this beautiful landscape in front of my house. I'm gonna be happy about it, or so the
You're inspiring them on the spot,
exactly.
and I think that some people can do it, in their words, using their words and maybe using past projects, but it still never shows the client right away a new vision. So I think that's the powers that you're showing them their, a vision for their house instantly is
Yes, yes.
the the huge benefit.
We are super friendly with all contractors, so we're happy to give you a demo. If just on the website, there's a form at the bottom. Just like if you put in there that you would like to see a demo, I'm happy to get a demo running, and we can get even the estimator working for you, and you
Okay.
can see the full from design to quote process, and how quickly and efficient that is.
Love that. Well, and we were talking before we started recording that we should do a demo next as well. So hang on, everybody. If you want to see a demonstration, Luis and I are going to get another recording sorted for that in a little while, and we'll link it to this one so you can see that in your own time as well. Well, great. Luis, this is so exciting. We've talked about you maybe being at our next Sync Live event, which is in Phoenix, so it's not that far from you either. So yeah, let's keep talking about that, and maybe you'll see a demo there and get to play with it at our next event. So yeah, stay tuned, everyone, for more from Luis and Neighborbrite, and give it a try and see how it can transform your business. Thanks for joining us today, Luis.
My pleasure. Thanks for inviting me.
Okay.